I'm going to play you a clip of scenes in Paris. Very interesting, the times that we live in. Just have a look at these celebrations and I'll talk about what exactly French were celebrating in Paris the other day.
Pour l'adoption, 780.
So there you had mostly women, few men, jumping up and down, celebrating, flags waving in the air. And exactly what was happening? Well, as many people are following the headlines in France, they enshrined abortion in their constitution. In Ireland in 2008, we removed the right to life from our constitution for the unborn child. So we had a lot of debate about this topic. So if you've happened to stumble across my channel, and you'll obviously have read from my description of the channel, Determined to be Catholic. And as Catholics, we believe that life begins at conception. The uniqueness of human life begins at conception. We are formed 9 months in the womb of our mother. If we look behind me, there's an image of Our Lady of Guadalupe. And when she appeared 500 years ago, in Mexico, she appeared pregnant, carrying our Lord. And our religious beliefs build on natural law. You know, we are all born from a mother. We're all carried for 9 months in the womb. To see what is happening in France, I mean, they've had abortion for decades, routinely. About 220 to 230,000 abortions are carried out in France every year. It's a 200 million euro industry, 200 million euro plus industry every year. A couple of women will die from an abortion because those are the statistics. It's not 100% safe. But I suppose we don't need to discuss those things because they rarely get talked about. But to celebrate abortion is interesting to see it happening. When we had the 2018 referendum debate in Ireland, you know, they used the shoe in the door, the wedge in the door arguments to justify removing the right to life of the unborn child, rape, incest, and so forth. Complications during pregnancy, threat to the mother's life. And they use these rare examples to justify, look, we need abortion on demand. And so the right to life of the unborn child was removed from the Irish Constitution. The French seem to have gone a step further and enshrined access to abortion in their constitution. If you read through the history of civilizations, something that you will note is civilizations rise and they fall. Empires rise and they fall. Societies rise, collapse and fall. This has happened all through the centuries, all through the millennium. And what we are witnessing now are the end days of the societies that we live in, because societies cannot live without children. And in case anybody hasn't noticed, as Europe imports millions and millions from outside of Europe, and again, I'm not anti-immigration, but as we import millions and millions of people into the European Union, our own birth rates are falling. Rural towns are dying. They are giving houses away for €1 initially in some towns to bring in families to revive their populations. Populations in Italy falling, Spain falling, France falling. And the only reason that France is able to keep up their population growth, obviously, is with, immigrated communities. And where will this play out in the long run? Well, sooner or later, when you go against nature, nature comes back to bite you. Sooner or later, what we're doing in the West, in teaching our children to despise the child that they carry in their womb, teaching our children not to take responsibility for their actions, because this is where we've arrived to in 2024, there's no real consequences to your actions. You can sleep with whoever you want, and you can get pregnant, and if you don't want the pregnancy, you can take a pill. The state will pay your €600 abortion fees, will pay the medications. Pharmaceuticals will make millions and millions in profits from killing children. And any time that this has been done in history, what we're doing now, and looking back at other civilizations, anytime that they did this, their civilizations collapsed. And that's why when you look behind me, you see Our Lady of Guadalupe. She appeared to a civilization which did sacrifice their young. They sacrificed their young. Well, we are doing the exact same in Europe. We are sacrificing our young for what? A career? Money? Because you don't want the child? Pleasure? Inconvenience? Because the father doesn't want it? Because I don't want it? We're teaching a generation. We're actually teaching hundreds of thousands of women and men not to take responsibility for the child that they formed together when they slept together. The most important thing that we can have in this world are our children, the next generation. And this mentality, sooner or later, will destroy our societies. When we go against nature, sooner or later, nature will come back to bite us. And so as we live through these end times of the civilization that we inhabit, it's worth remembering this. We might be a minority that believe that the child in the womb is precious, is sacred, and should be respected and honoured and cherished. We might be a minority, but sometimes that doesn't mean that we should be ignored. And I think France, as the eldest daughter of the church, it is very sad to see what is happening during these end times. And we need to pray. We need to pray. We need to really show this world the beauty of a child. If every child was cherished, what this world would be. But I sometimes despair for a generation that hasn't been taught how to be a mother or how to be a father. It's very sad in this world which has ubiquitous access to contraception. Everywhere. You see condoms sold everywhere. But it's not enough. Not that I would ever promote this, but you see, this is where we've arrived to. And in certain countries, no, 13 weeks is not enough. Why do I have to wait 13 weeks? Why can't I have abortion up to 40 weeks? There's even people that are saying, well, look, if I have a child and it's disabled, why can't I, mercy kill it? These conversations, you hear it in the media. I don't invent it. You hear it and you're wondering, wow. Again, we live in this materialistic world that anything that is an inconvenience to us, we have to get rid of. So elderly people that are terminally ill, that are inconvenient, will just pass legislation to inject you off, kill you off. And we have this culture of death. It's a culture of death, where the most vulnerable are not valued. You know, just think about it in France. 230 abortions a year. 230,000 abortions a year. Before abortion legislation was introduced in Ireland, we had 2,000 abortions, and people were saying, oh, these women are travelling, so we need to offer abortions here in Ireland. And we went from 2,000 to 10,000 a year. Fivefold increased in Ireland after removing the right to life in the womb. You know, because we're teaching a generation not to value the human being that they've... Love. A generation that believes in love without responsibility. A generation that believes in so-called love without commitment. This is the generation that we've that Europe is forming, the West is forming. You know, it's amazing to see it. But I pray, because you know things will get faster as we move towards where we're moving, where things are moving, and we need to pray very much for the world, for the church, but stand up for the values what we believe in. You know, every single one of us spent 9 months in our mother's womb. Every single one of us. And we need to build a culture of life and not the culture of death and consumerism. We need to, you know, turn around to these pharmaceutical companies who make millions and millions and millions of profits from the abortion industry to say, you know, your blood money is going to end soon. Your blood money is going to end soon. God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.